All right, Steven, I think they're ready for us. You ready?
Yep.
All right, let's get it. So what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of We Got Next. I am one half of the show. My name is Christian Hayes, AO Shifty on Twitter, and we have my boy, a.k.a. LaDainian Tomlinson, or better known as Steven Springer. That's what
You got that. You got that one half thing. I say that during the quick.
Yep, exactly.
You got that shit. You fucking stole that from me. That's my thing, bro. That's my thing. You use something different for your own intro, my guy. Oh man, that's corny, bro. You stealing my intro? Golly.
Well, they don't listen to me when I do my intro.
Yeah.
They say we're not even gonna listen to it. But thank you all for everyone watching and listening, all the Real Housewives people that end up tuning in because you saw the Real Housewives segment. We'll talk about that in a second. But welcome, everyone. We just want to always say what's up to the haters, but also stay tuned for this episode because I think this will be one of our better episodes that we do have. Steven and I have been talking throughout the week about different topics. You all saw Monday and Tuesday, different topics end up popping up. As you all know, I'm definitely big with the Ravens, so we're going to talk about them. But just getting into everything, what's up for this week and last week within Quick Slants?
Yeah, so I'll touch on that real quick. I'll make this quick because I have more to talk about later on with one of my rants. So I'm not going to be doing the Quick Slants this week. It's just been, first of all, it's a bye week for Penn State, so it's a bye week for your boy. Get the vocals, give them a little rest. Especially after losing, I need the vocals to have a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
So not doing the Quick Slants this week. Penn State lost 23-20 in Iowa City last Saturday. Sean Clifford, Penn State's quarterback, got knocked out mid second quarter. And once that happened, Penn State really had no shot. I mean, the defense played awesome, but there's only so much the defense can do. We asked them to basically play offense for the entire rest of the game. Shout out to Iowa's punter, though. He kept putting Penn State in bad situations, backed up inside our own 20, inside our own 10 sometimes. So it just happens every year. Penn State has always has that game where, the season's going, it gets going, and then it just starts to go down. Luckily, the bye week is right now. Have a chance to get healthy. I don't know the status of Sean Clifford. Penn State's head coach, James Franklin, is very hush-hush about injuries unless it's, a season-ending injury, which we do have one. Defensive tackle PJ Mustipher is out for the season. Hopefully he gets better soon. But no one knows what the injury is for Sean Clifford. It looked like his back. Yeah, again, no one knows because James Franklin doesn't mention it. We have Illinois coming up next weekend, and then we have Ohio State, which starts the stretch of a handful of ranked games in a row. We play Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State, all ranked inside the top 10.
Yeah, those are big.
To 3 of the last 6 games of the season. So the good thing about this game, it wasn't a divisional game. It's a conference loss, but it wasn't a divisional game. I expect Penn State to see Iowa again in the Big Ten championship game if Sean Clifford is healthy. Again, tough loss. I'm disappointed, obviously, but I'm not as disappointed as I usually am when Penn State loses, because it's when we lose in the last handful of seasons, it's, we've shot ourselves in the foot. But when your starting quarterback goes down, it's, as well as I do with teams, it's tough, especially when the drop off is significant. So yeah, taking a break this week. I'm going to a wedding this weekend as well. So kind of packing for that. Kids, work, life, just kind of bye week came at the right time for everybody. Everyone's got to rest up. I'm going to enjoy a nice Cape May beer, Cape May Brewing Company. Shout out to them for supplying this beer. They have a whole slew of good beers. Go down to Cape May, get you some. Shout out to them. So enjoy a nice beer this weekend, and we'll get back to the Quick Slants next week. I have a surprise for y'all next week on the Quick Slants, so make sure you guys tune in for that. Got some special appearances for everybody. So, but yeah, taking a break this week, and we'll come back strong next week.
I just have a blue moon. It's not as good as the Cape.
Shout out to Blue Moon Brewing, though.
I know.
Shout out.
So, that's the update on Quick Slants. I want to touch on Real Housewives real quick because I know a lot of you Real Housewives people are not going to watch the whole thing. So just my quick thoughts on everything. Y'all shows are very messy. I talked to Sierra about it a hell of a lot, and I'm like, there's no way in hell like you're ever going on those shows. One, I got to congratulate Chris. For everyone out there, Chris is Candace's wife. Candace is not one of the original OGs on the show, but Chris has definitely come a long way. It's cool to end up seeing some of the new ones, but it's also interesting when you see the originals, like you have Karen and then Giselle that end up start clicking. Shout out Robin Dixon. That's the reason why I'm bringing all this up, because at one point I was able to have the opportunity to work with Robin and Juan Dixon. So I kind of end up only really watch it just to see like, damn, I know somebody that's on the show. Not just like, oh, I know that person, but I got to see who they are day in and day out for a little bit, working with them at their camps. You got to see Corey and Carter and just see all of them grow up. So like seeing them on the TV now, it's cool to end up seeing. Just getting back into everyone else, you end up seeing former athletes that are on the show. And it's funny because the husbands half the time don't want to deal with the shit, but they're on the show. So that's my quick little talk about Real Housewives of Potomac. If you guys want me to do it again, I'll do it again, but I ain't watching every single episode because y'all just be doing too much on them shows. But so anyways, getting it.
Oh, you just did too much. You just did too much, bro. Like that was, you said it was gonna be quick.
Hey, it was quicker than the Quick Slants.
Bro, that was a deep fade. And that was a deep fade, my guy.
So the other thing I want to bring up, as you all know, Steven does the Quick Slant, and then I started a series at the Alden Theater in McLean, Virginia. We're going to start having different business owners come there. So the first one is November 17th at 7 p.m. I'll link it down below, but I will be sitting down to talk to the Vice President of Corporate Development for Capital One. For anyone that's in the Northern Virginia area, you know that you see the big ass campus for Capital One getting built up every single day. I've been able to see it being built ever since I worked at two of my other jobs like Sports International, and then another time in Maryland.
Shout out.
But yeah, shout out to them.
Shout out.
So
yeah.
Dave, a lot of times you'll hear Steve and I talk about Sports International because one, I always think back, the people were cool there. It was just, upper management, how they always say, just didn't do things right. Shout out Max if you ever listen to this. But but that's all we're gonna say. Just going into that. So that'll be November 17th at 7 p.m. So if you all want to come in person, end up watching that, feel free. We will have another one in February. So I'll continue to keep you updated on that. Moving into the cryptocurrency news, I do want to admit, so I do talk about our positives and the good things we got Nexus doing, all the interviews we have, but a lot of times people don't talk about their negatives. So there was a company called Saturn Beam that a lot of people put a lot of staking into it. They had over 500, 1,000% that you could stake and earn a return. At one point, I was able to earn like $500 to $1,000 off of the amount that I had invested. Of course, like you looking back, you're like, why didn't you end up pulling your money out at that point and then reinvesting it? Because when you're in something like that, you think it's going to continue to grow because it's supposedly working with Moon River. Well, apparently the company ended up doing a rug pull. And what that means is the whole team disappears. And like they take off their website, they take off their Twitter, everything. So I woke up in the morning like, all right, let me refresh it. Went to sleep happy as hell, like had at least $1,000 in interest that I basically made. Woke up, everything was gone. And I found out that they rugged. So yes, I did lose $4,000. There were other friends that I had that lost up to 200, 300,000 on it. And it's something that does sting and hurt. It's something that a lot of times people will never get used to, but you have to be able to lick your wounds and just get back out there. So always remember to diversify. Don't put all your money in one thing. I don't even do that. I don't even have all my money in cryptocurrency. I have some in stocks. I also have some within like real estate. And then I've started talking to other like businesses to invest in companies. You don't want to keep everything in one spot because if it just randomly blows up, what you gonna do? Like your wife, your husband, whoever it is listening to this, they're not gonna look and be like, all right, cool, that's okay. No, they're gonna be like, so what the hell are you gonna do from that? So just think about diversification in that sense. I just wanted to let everybody know, but it's something that I will continue to provide different cryptocurrencies for you all. This is not something the company I was invested in. This is something that I personally had my funds invested in. So nobody invested in Shift Movement has to deal with anything regarding that. Another thing I want to shout out to Stripe. So they're huge in the payment processing world. They are getting into cryptocurrency. And that's a big thing because the more of these big name, well-known companies that are getting into payments and processing, it's big for the entire cryptocurrency space. Another thing that came out was the BitMEX CEO said that at least 5 countries by the end of 2022 will regulate and allow Bitcoin. And I do tend to agree with that. I've heard some people like the Pomps end up talking about a lot of South and Central American countries. I do believe that that might make up 2 to 3. Argentina will be a big one. Brazil, I think so as well. But what you all need to end up paying attention to is kind of like Central to Eastern Europe. I do believe maybe like not Scandinavia or anything like that, but maybe Ukraine or a country of that nature might get involved in cryptocurrency. I can also see maybe Cuba doing something wild as shit and doing that. Don't sleep on any of the African nations as well to get involved. I can see at least one because they are trying to do a lot when it comes to cryptocurrency. So that's just the other thing I want to bring up. There are going to be a good amount of countries that do get involved in cryptocurrency, and that will also help things move forward. The last thing I want to bring up in the cryptocurrency world is just there was an ETF that was approved within the stock market, but what a lot of people don't understand is they think that it's focused strictly on Bitcoin, but it's an index of companies that have purchased Bitcoin. So companies such as like MicroStrategy, Marathon, Square, those likes are going to be a part of the ETF that they have. And then 20% will be just more so regular low risk type of stocks. So it's 80% that are involved in cryptocurrency that they bought, but the ETF has not bought cryptocurrency. So that's the big difference. And that's the next step. A lot of people believe that by the end of October that an ETF will be approved. I don't think it'll be that early, but I do believe that when the ETFs are approved for cryptocurrency in the stock market, it won't just be one, it'll be 2 to 3 or so. There are tens of hundreds of ETFs that are filed out there. Some are even starting to just purchase Canadian ETFs. So continue to pay attention to that. That's what I'll leave with the cryptocurrency segment because there's a lot that is going on, but just stay tuned because we got to say quarter number 4, it's a big quarter out there. So shout out, and Bitcoin is over 57,000. I do believe that we will hit Plan B's mark of around 63,000 by the end of October, but stay tuned for that. That's all I'll give you all for the cryptocurrency world. I want to turn this over into college football really quickly. So I'll go over the rankings and then I'll let Steven be able to talk about it and we can end up diving into it because I learned some things about Texas A&M and how much money they made off of just alcohol sales. But number 1 now is Georgia. 2, we have Iowa. 3, we got Cincinnati. 4, we have not Spencer Rattler, which I came to find out, which was very interesting that he has a lot of money in the NIL world, but he ain't even starting. But number 4 is Oklahoma. 5 is Bama. 6 is Ohio State. 7 is Penn State. 8 is Michigan. 9 is Oregon. And 10 is Michigan State. And that's what Steven's bringing up. It's a lot of them in the Big Ten that are all right next to each other, and they're all going to start being able to start going to play each other. So Steven, 1, what are your thoughts on the game? Because I did get an opportunity to watch some of that. I was going back between Georgia. I think Georgia played Auburn, and it was, that game after a moment. So I watched Georgia Auburn because that started at 3:30, and then the Penn State game started at 4. And I was like, all right, let me see one more score from Georgia. Because Georgia gets to that point of, you don't got to watch the whole game for Georgia. Once they just hit that curve, it's like, all right, turn the channel because you know it's over. But what were your thoughts on the games and also the Penn State game?
I hate Iowa. I just so Ohio State is definitely the team I hate the most, not just in college football, but in all sports. It's Ohio State, number 1, hands down. But Iowa is now that this game is between Penn State and Iowa has now intensified times 10, times 100. And I don't think we play them next year. Next time we can possibly play them is going to be in Indianapolis in December for the Big Ten Championship, which I said I fully expect Penn State to be there if our quarterback is healthy. So my thoughts about the game are not much because Penn State was up 17-3 when our starting quarterback went down. And I don't think, I don't think that it was going to be a lot to a little in terms of the score, but I think Penn State, they were moving the ball easily on Iowa's defense. And Penn State's defense was playing lights out up until that point. But when your starting quarterback goes down, And like I said, the gap between the two is significant, which I saw a lot of Penn State fans were complaining that the gap between the starting quarterback and the backup shouldn't be that dramatic, but it is. Our backup from last year is now the starting quarterback at Kentucky, and they're 6-0. So shout out to Will Levis. I miss you. But we like the drop off is huge between Sean Clifford, Penn State starter, and Taquan Roberson, the backup. And they play like as well as I do. When you come to the backup, the playbook changes.
Mm-hmm.
Our backup played against Ball State and Villanova. He played against other backups and more backups. So you're not playing at Kinnick Stadium against one of the best defenses in the country. You're not playing against Iowa. You're playing against Ball State and Villanova, right? So once I learned that our quarterback was out for the rest of the game, I knew the game was not over, but I knew it was going to be very tough for us to win that game because you're basically asking your defense to play offense, like I said earlier. So it sucks. It sucks. But again, going back to it, it's not a divisional loss. So we're still, unbeaten in the Eastern Division. So we still have Ohio State, Michigan State to play. So it's still there for us to win. We can still go 11-1. We control our own destiny, as they always say in sports. So there's that aspect of things. But the biggest takeaway from the game is the Iowa fans are fucking miserable. I don't like them. I cannot stand them. I hope we have one listening to this. I hope one claps back at me. Can't stand them, bro. Can't stand them. Why? Because first of all, every time we had a player go down, they would boo. And
I heard that, yeah.
When you run an up-tempo offense like Penn State does, or it happens in college football, happens in the NFL, happens all the time, right? You've seen it. I've seen it. We've all seen it. Everybody who watches football has seen this happen. We've seen guys just standing and then fall down. Okay. That is not what Penn State players did. Okay. At all. And we had a lot of them didn't come back into the game. We lost, I think, 3 players did not come back in the game. 2 of them were starters. Okay. One of them is one of our better defensive players who's now out for the season. Okay. So he wasn't faking it. The other one was one of our starting safeties, a captain, didn't come back in the game. The other one, the defensive lineman who was out for the season, his backup went down. Do Iowa fans really think that we would have our backup to our starter go down and because of up tempo? And second of all, Iowa doesn't run up tempo offense. Iowa's offense is boring as fuck. Their offense is like Penn State runs up tempo offense. Iowa runs a one play every 5 minutes, for God's sakes. So Iowa fans need to chill out with this. Why are you mad? You're 6-0. You're number 2 in the country. You just beat us. If you would have lost, and this was maybe one of the reasons we thought you lost, fine. I could get on board with you guys being mad, but y'all won the game. You beat us. It took you long enough to beat us, though, with our backup quarterback. So, again, Iowa's offense struggled a lot, but I just hate Iowa fans. I hate Ohio State fans, but they kick our asses pretty much every year, or we lose them every year. So they have reason to talk. And Iowa's one of the top, or Ohio State's one of the top 35 teams in the country every single season. Iowa is not. So Iowa gets there, and first of all, they play in a dog shit division in the Big Ten. Okay, the Big Ten East is where the big boys play, not the Big Ten West. So screw them. So, I'm done with Iowa. There's nothing else to do in that state but football and be miserable. Because what do you you got corn, cool, dude. Awesome. I know you supply a lot of the corn, but that's it. That's all y'all do there. So I don't really care. Screw Iowa. I'm done with it. Just kick them off the map. Don't care. They're not. Unfortunately, they're not going to lose the rest of the season because they play in a dog shit conference or a dog shit division, and we'll see them in the Big Ten championship game, and we'll continue the beatdown that we were giving them in the first half. So that's my thoughts about Iowa.
That's, I think, the biggest thing. I feel so bad for Robertson because of the fact he was put in one of the shittiest situations ever. Like,
yeah,
all right, my guy, here you go.
I'm not gonna, and like, I don't want to sit here and I don't want to sound like I'm knocking him, because like, okay, yeah, the backup, like Sean Clifford he gets knocked down sometimes, but he always gets back up.
Mm-hmm.
Like he never, like, he might be gimpy sometimes, but like he's never gotten to the point where he's been knocked out. And of course, there's always that chance where your quarterback or anybody on your team, any starter, can get hurt. That can happen on any single play. We've seen it happen. So, like, to be put in that situation at Kinnick Stadium in that type of game, a top 5 matchup, a lot riding on the line for both teams. Penn State's up 17-3. There's a lot of pressure on him, at 17-10 after Clifford went down eventually. But there's a lot of pressure on that kid. And he's just not, it just wasn't for him. And like, that's not, his situation, and the playbook changes and you got to do this. And Penn State had some drops and a lot of false start penalties. And, we shot ourselves in the foot a couple of times. I'll admit that. But moral of the story is I just hate Iowa. I hate the fans, hate their coaches, everything about them. Everything about it, dude. Hate it. I hate them. And, like I said, we'll see them in Indianapolis, because we're gonna beat Ohio State, we're gonna beat Michigan, we're gonna beat Maryland, Rutgers, Illinois, Michigan State, rest of the way, 11-1. We'll see them in Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship game and continue that beatdown we were giving them on Saturday in the first half. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
So next thing I want to bring up is, if you all watched it, Texas A&M beat Alabama. I don't really care as much about the game. I wanted to bring up at the end because I'm a numbers person, and shout out to Papliano Brothers again. So Joe put out a stat that they made twice as much money on alcohol sales alone, and they got fined $100,000 for running on the field.
Pocket change for Texas A&M.
Huh?
That's pocket change for Texas A&M.
That's pocket change. The fact that alcohol sales, this is not any gear, this is not the tickets, this is alcohol sales that you guys made over $200,000, and you had to just pay a fine of $100,000 for run on the field. It's a good return on investment. It doesn't matter. You still made over $100,000 all of alcohol, because if every single person in that stadium just got one, that's a good amount of money.
I think that stadium's 102,000. I think it's over 100,000.
Yes.
Yeah. And of course, what makes the Penn State loss even worse is that Alabama lost.
I know,
and Penn State was going to be number 2 in the country.
Yeah. So with that Alabama loss, that was a big one. I want to segue over into, we'll just talk about miscellaneous sports really quick. Not miscellaneous, but like quick hits. And the first one is the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. First off, that's over. Like, if anyone keeps on to go back and forth, I hate the people that put the meme of the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays, because the Red Sox are doing shit. So congratulations to them. And I don't say that being a Yankees fan, but Deontay Wilder just seemed to get knocked left, right, up, down, all over the place, around the whole thing. And he wanted this fight because he was entitled to end up having this, just because it was a 3-round thing. And the first 2 weren't flat out wins. So there was a reason to end up having a third. So Tyson Fury was like, all right, I'll just do this shit again. And he did it. Like, that's how you end. There's no more discussion with that. So that's what I wanted to bring up with that. Another thing I wanted to bring up is J.R. Smith. So Mr. J.R. Smith pulled up in a Bentley to the golf tournament. But when he was at the golf tournament, he got attacked by hornets.
Bro, we need to protect this man at all costs.
We do.
This is one of those things, man. We need to protect him at all costs. And I don't know if anyone saw the video. Did you see the video of him actually playing?
He could swing.
Yeah, bro. And he was hitting some good shots.
Yes.
He's like, it's cool because he's a legitimate golfer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's actually good. He's not, this isn't like a charity case where they're just like, oh, let's put this NBA player on this golf team for the season and let's see how it goes. And we'll make a Netflix documentary out of it or some bullshit like that, which they might, whatever, it'd be cool. But he's like a legitimate golfer.
Yeah.
Like, he's good.
Mm-hmm.
And he's knocking shots close to the pin. He's making long putts. His swing looks good for someone who's 6'6", 6'7".
That's a big thing too.
That's tough to do. You don't see a lot of tall ass golfers like that. And imagine like you're on the first tee, you're some like 18-year-old freshman, 19-year-old freshman pulling up, and you got your bag, and And you pull up on like the team bus and like you look behind you and fucking J.R. Smith behind you. Mm-hmm. Ready to tee up.
Yeah. So
and knocks that out.
Yeah. So then that's one thing I wanted to end up bringing up. The next thing I end up wanting to talk about is we'll go into the Penguins. So congratulations to the Penguins on their win that they had. So that was a big one.
Got that W.
Yep. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up was, unfortunately, the Seattle Kraken did lose in their NHL debut. They lost to the Golden Knights, Las Vegas. So that was kind of cool to see two of the newer teams in the NHL end up playing against each other. Mm-hmm. But kudos to the Golden Knights, and then shout out to the Penguins for that one. The big story we want to get into is Jon Gruden. That's one of the big stories that we want to talk about. For starters, it was funny because shout out to the people on Twitter that it was like 4 people in a row on my timeline that said the same thing. And someone got a screenshot of all of us saying the same thing down someone's timeline. There's so much to end up talking about this. And we can even bring in like the Adam Schefter stuff to all of it too. So what are your thoughts on everything that went on with it?
I mean, I think we can all agree what he said was wrong. And like, whether he's that type of person or not, I don't think that's ever going to be proven, Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think there's nothing that like is he a racist, homophobic, whatever? Like, is he? It seems like it, but I mean, I don't know him, and like people around him say like that's not who he is, and I mean, people use that language, and they might not be that, but like you just can't say that, and then you can't promote someone as your head coach who says that. And
yes,
there's people who are defending him and saying it was 10 years ago, and like, hey, well, let's see person or so-and-so's emails from 10 years ago, 7 years ago, or whatever it is. Like, first of all, if your emails from 10 years ago, 7 years ago, an hour ago, if your emails have that kind of language in it, you got a problem.
No matter what. Yes.
No matter what, bro.
He knew he did it.
Like, I'm like, me. I've never used any of those words. I don't say that stuff. It might have slipped up before, like if I was like ever drunk or whatever. But mm-hmm. I don't say that kind of shit. Like, because it's just wrong to say.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't, like, even if you're just joking around, like don't say it. Mm-hmm. Like, don't say that type of shit. It's just not something you can like just get away with, like endorse. You can't endorse someone who says that kind of stuff. And like, no, like I know it's like locker room talk is like the term that we've used over the years of saying that kind of stuff, or when it, if it's like misogynistic or whatever. Like, I know that people have used that as an excuse maybe, but like, if your emails have been saying that or whatever, you've been using that language, come on, bro. Like, I mean, you got a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really it. And then you have a player on your team who came out as gay in Carl Nassib. Mm-hmm. So like, you got that player on your team, and then like, how does he feel about it? It's just like it's a whole mess, and this isn't even close to being over with either.
No, like they're just getting to the start of it at this point.
What are your thoughts?
So I had the time.
All right, so all right. Let me ask you this though: if you're on the Raiders, being a black player, and that's your coach, right? I know he's gone and everything, but like, if you see him like, and that's been stated in emails and everything, like, can you sense that from somebody? Like can you not like, can you sense that someone has like that type of like mentality towards a certain group of people, person, or whatever? Like, how, like, can you feel that? Or is it just like people are really good at hiding that they're a racist, a homophobic, misogynistic, whatever the case may be?
So we've had these conversations. There's always levels to like racism and like levels to like the folk people and all that thing. And I think he was probably on the surface of a lot of people probably knew. His was more so easy and obvious. one, because he's over here talking like Bruce Allen and stuff. Why are you doing that? But in terms of the locker room, Keyshawn Johnson even said it, that, yeah, this man's a fraud. A used car salesman is the word he used. And I'm just like, for you to say that. But in terms of me, yeah, I know at work at times, not going to say which of my jobs, but I could absolutely tell that it was a racist, either director or executive, or they didn't necessarily want anyone of minority, not just like Black, Asian, or Latino. It could even be women. They did not want to have a higher position than them. And that's something that you can absolutely tell with the easy to read people. There are some that are very secretive that you could not tell unless like you were in backdoor conversations with them and you knew them for years, and that's how they just talked on the regular. But in the professional environment, it's can be tough. He just like I brought up before with another player, he kind of had and looked kind of like a dick. Like he's one of those coaches that absolutely he started getting the belly, and then you saw his sons or whatever at the draft parties. You can kind of tell like, all right, something's a little off. I wouldn't say I knew he was a racist. I would say I knew something was off. He was cool to listen to. When he was on Monday Night Football, he kind of gave it what it was, and he would analyze with the quarterbacks and stuff. But when now you go back and listen to those, it's like, damn, did he not like some of those quarterbacks? Or what were the thoughts?
What's also crazy is that like he was with Mike Tirico for a long time in the booth.
Yes, Mike Tirico brought that up,
and Tirico backed him. And this is before the emails came out. I think it was Sunday night actually.
Yeah.
So it was like a day before. So Tirico was backing all this. It'll be interesting to see if he has anything to say this coming Sunday night on Football Night in America. But like he's in the booth with him for that long, and I feel like if you're a racist person, like you're just not gonna want to do that. Now you might be a closet racist, which like again,
there's levels.
I feel like I'm throwing out accusations against Jon Gruden, which might not be true, and he's also an old school guy. Mm-hmm. So old school people just throw that shit around. Those words, phrases towards any group of people, they have a mindset that's been established. And you and I have talked about this plenty of times. It's just a mindset that's been established for generations. So, we don't have to get like deep into like that level of conversation, but maybe at one point we should, but it's like, he just like throws those words around. And is that who Jon Gruden is? Again, going back to what I initially said, maybe it is, maybe it's not. Maybe he just throws those words around like it's, like it's nothing. Like Eminem is not homophobic. He just like that's just like what he grew up with. And he did an interview with Anderson Cooper, who is, I think he's openly gay, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So he did an interview with him. Wow, that would be bad if I was wrong, wouldn't it?
No, Anderson's come out. I think Anderson has a child and stuff too.
But he did an interview with Eminem, and he's like, yeah, this is just what I grew up with. Like that's the people I was around always said, the F word, and when it comes to gay people, and Gruden was just launching that around, bro. And was Adam Schefter said that he cleaned house, did a clean sweep on every single group of people in these emails, targeting every single person. And
he did. Like, that was the big part. He didn't forget any type of person.
And the other thing is, if you're in that type of position of a power that Jon Gruden has been in, before when he was a coach with the Raiders and the Bucks, and someone in a position of power being the guy on Monday Night Football, and then now, or I guess formerly the coach of the Raiders, like you just can't say that shit in emails or anywhere. If you're gonna say it, go say it in your basement with like your boys or whatever. Like whatever. Like, if people want to talk about it, they can talk about it. But like you just can't openly say that shit, especially these days, because it just leads to really, really bad things for everybody.
So I got two things with it. One, do you think he ever gets a job in the NFL again?
Never. Oh, no chance.
Okay.
Bro, another example. The same type of shit. What's it? Myers Leonard, dude from the Heat.
Oh yeah.
Drop that Jewish, that anti-Semitic thing on
The
whatever
Twitch
it is.
thing.
Yeah, the Twitch. Yeah, he's never playing the NBA again. Now,
I want to go back to the Heat.
First of all, he's okay. Myers Leonard, no, he's that guy. He's that guy. No, there's zero chance that Jon Gruden ever works in the NFL again. Never works for one of the networks again. If anything, he might go to Fox News. But
they were saying that.
Yeah, it's gonna be him,
Sage
Steele, Jason Whitlock, all those people on a talk show. I can't wait. But no, there's no chance.
So my big thing with Jon Gruden is, I talked to a lot of like my crypto friends about it. Fun fact, a lot of the crypto friends that I have, they'll talk football. That's one of the few sports, like almost everyone will talk football. You can be in Europe, you can be in Asia, you're going to know some sort about American football. Mm-hmm. And they were like, I don't disagree with the Roger Goodell part. First off, everything is just wild. Like what he said about Roger Goodell. And then the funniest part is, people want to get so far away from this shit when you have Jeff Fish like, nope, I ain't say none of that shit. Don't put me in it. The Buccaneers like, nope, he out of the Ring of Honor. You are not putting us in it. Because they're like, we don't know what other emails are in this shit. Like, we are just going to get ahead of it. And what people don't realize is, so I have about like 5 to 7 people on my staff at work. And when they leave, I gain access to their emails. So that's kind of how it is. No matter what, like you can delete it. It's just going to go to their delete folder that you have access to. I've had managers when I left, they look through my emails. Is it right or wrong? That's up to whoever it is.
I hope Chad didn't read my emails.
Yeah.
Shout out.
So that's the biggest thing. Wherever I go, and I'll give you all a tip out there, use nicknames. Like I remember I used to end up talking to different people. Just don't make it obvious nickname like White Overlord, because then they'll guess that. But
isn't that basic humanity 101?
Yeah, like, use the nickname.
Just don't be stupid.
Yes, exactly.
Like, just don't say that shit.
Yes, that's it. And I don't know what was worse. The Roger Goodell, there's people out there that'll agree with it. Roger Goodell has done a lot, so I won't say Roger Goodell is a saint. By no means is he, because he definitely is getting paid by the owner, so he's going to agree with them at times. The Michael Sam part was awful what he said, but the Marquette King, I think that's the part that rubbed me, because it reminded me so much of Chip Kelly and how Chip Kelly was like, Deshaun Jackson gone, those gang ties. Nope. Deshaun Jackson's still in the NFL chilling, doing all he want to do. LaShawn McCoy's career changed because of him getting sent off. And then Jeremy Macklin's gone, but you brought in Kiko Alonso, and you brought in all these other randomized people that fit your scheme. And that's how King has not gotten another opportunity like that. I thought he made the punter position cool, and that's gone.
That's tough to do.
Tim K even was like, shit, let me check this dude out. Like, nobody thinks of the position like that. You have some of the punters that get height, some of them that are making good tackles, but he made the position cool, like would do different dances and stuff.
Swag, yeah.
Like had swag with the position. Jon Gruden was like, not fitting, like not gonna keep him here. And I'm like, damn, it was like the only black punter there was. And you let him go. So Jon Gruden, there's a lot that rubbed me the wrong way with him. And the craziest part about it is now Adam Schefter, they're like, yo, we're going to expose Adam Schefter with this stuff too, because he's supposedly being like, Mr. Editor, can you end up checking out this information before I end up publishing it? That's kind of tough too, because I know there's a lot of editors out there and a lot of journalists out there that did their whole career to get to the point they are. And you have Adam Schefter asking Alan to end up like reading over this before he publishes it. And the biggest part that Steve and I keep bringing up is you don't know how much other shit is about to come out. Why did it take so long? Because the owners and then Goodell were like, let's try and hide this. It always got to be that one person that said, hell no, we about to leak this shit. And that's what they end up doing, which for right, they did do it because some of the NFL players probably didn't know about it. If you were up there higher tier, you probably had an understanding of like what probably was going on. But if you were on the practice squad or like third string, you're not talking to the coach necessarily every day, or you're not talking to the inside connects. So you won't necessarily know about that. So it takes a minute to get there. I know if like Brady was on the team, he'd be like, yep, I knew that shit. Like Carr probably had an idea, but Carr is one of those people that is just going to try and go by what he's told and just be like, all right, let's go. Let's get out there, get some wins. And it was reflected, honestly, in their play. So in the fantasy world, I would be weary of choosing or playing a lot of those Raiders players until you see a new direction, because they have their special teams coach that's now their head coach. And who really knows how that team's going to play? I can promise you one person is still going to catch passes. That's Darren Waller. But I can't tell you about the rest of the team. So I really don't know what's going to happen out there. And I do feel bad for them. First year that they had fans in attendance for Vegas, and this shit happens. But what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So who knows what will happen with that. Moving on to other things that were big in the NFL. I know you saw this, but did you see Russell Wilson's finger?
I did.
His fingers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn.
That sucks. Like, I mean, they're done. Like, their season's done.
Yeah.
You know, he's out what?
Who else got injured? Carson.
Well, that's your boy, though. Christian, every single time you, like, every year, you always call. Oh, no. I'm just talking about, like, in general. Every single year, you always call, like, you pick someone and you're like, oh, well, he's about to get injured. Yeah. And when it doesn't matter if it's week 1, week 5, week 10, whatever. That person goes down. It could be the only thing you say to me all day. Mm-hmm. But I told you his ass was going to get hurt every single season, bro. And if I can go back on that tag, you say, I told you his ass was going to get hurt.
I told you. Carson
every
injured.
year, bro. Oh, man.
I didn't call the Juju one correctly. I knew he was going to get injured. I just didn't know. But you called that saying, yo, like, Juju's not having that same type of year. I feel bad for his shoulder because that's some serious shit. Like, you saw pain with him, but I didn't know it was it. And I honestly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think that might be it for him in Pittsburgh as well.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. Speaking of it might be it, yo, I know he's not listening, but please, Saquon.
He got to get the hell out of there.
Stop.
Like, leave.
Stop playing for the Giants. Please, like, for Penn State fans, for fans of your career who want to see you keep going. Like, I know his injury was a freak injury. Like, if you watch the replay, it was just
yeah.
You know, but that, you know, again, I know that's freak, but that's just where the Giants are. It's just like he's just cursed now, and it sucks. Luckily it's a low ankle sprain, which if you saw what his ankle looked like,
that joint blew up. I did not think it was a sprain.
I thought for sure he was done for the season.
Yes.
So luckily it's only like 2 to 4 weeks, and someone, like they say, with his ability to be healthy and recover, you know, it might be earlier. Regardless, bro, take that money and just stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Until I blame the Giants 100% on his failure in his career. I know injuries happen, and sometimes they're freak injuries, and you can be the most, you know, gifted athlete in the world. We've seen it, and, you know, luckily he came back this year, and he looked good when he had holes to run through, but he doesn't. The Giants just haven't given him the ability to do so consistently.
I don't think he's
so that sucks. Oh God, dude, if he does, I quit. I quit.
He can't sign.
No.
The next thing I want to bring up is Jacksonville. Shout out that big 2-0. So 20 losses in a row. That's pretty difficult to do. And the funniest part is, and I put this on Twitter, I really thought Irving was going to be gone first. Irving out there chilling like, y'all thought it was. Jon Gruden beat me to it.
Did you hear what he said? He said he wanted to have a balance of 250 passing yards a game and 200 rushing yards a game. Who's doing that?
College. This is not college.
That? Who on that team is going to do that consistently?
You don't give James Robinson enough. So James Robinson is someone that I mentioned is going to be good this year, but I don't think Urban is the right coach for that team. They have perfect weapons. Nobody's really able to do much because Urban and how they're doing with everything. Like, James Robinson's starting to come alive, but it's more so in the catching and the receiving game. He is getting rushes at times. 200, hell no.
They don't have a choice, bro. I've already
Really
seen people say that Trevor Lawrence should force his way out of Jacksonville. I mean, he's going down like, Jacksonville. It doesn't matter who the coach would be. It could be Urban Meyer. It could be one of us. His career is already starting down that like a really bad path of being.
That sucks. This man never lost.
Yeah, I mean, you can blame the Jets for this one because if he was in New York, and the Jets, I say blame the Jets because they won one extra game than Jaguars did when the Jets were dog shit last year. So they should have lost and they should have been the number one pick in the draft. But it just sucks. On a side note, it just sucks when I know the best players in college football go to the worst teams in the NFL.
Yes.
And I get that, and I get like that's how like the draft is structured, and the NBA is the same way, and every sport's drafted like that. And I get it, but like it really sucks.
Yeah.
That these elite athletes, not just like college football players, but elite athletes in the world. Trevor Lawrence is, he's one of the better quarterbacks that we've seen over the last 2 decades, 3 decades.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just saying that because, he was the number one draft pick. Go back and watch all the tape. He is that guy. You see what Clemson is this year. I mean,
who are they?
Exactly. Enough said. So it sucks when players like that go to a team like that. Joe Burrow is different because Cincinnati was able to.
They had pieces. They had injuries.
Pieces. They had things. They just got lucky and had a really dog shit season. I love that term, by the way, dog shit.
Yeah,
I love that. Love that term. But like Jacksonville just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jacksonville.
They're never going to. I won't say they're never going to be good. They had that one year that they were riding, and after that, it just went downhill.
They were this close to being the Pats.
They were.
But the quarterback was Blake Bortles, and they didn't try and get more points at the end of the first half in that game. But again, I digress. Can we talk about Kyrie Irving now?
So we got 2 more things that we'll talk about. Kyrie.
Oh, bro, come on.
So first thing I want to bring up is the coach of the Lions. So it was funny because he said, "Yo, our team is just so good and they just deserve it and they're that close." And in my head, I'm like, I feel you with all your emotions. But how the hell good can your team be if you lost every single game? That's the other thing I'm thinking. And I'm just like, yeah, they are another injury bug team. Like they have a lot of players that will start to come back. But you lost every game.
It's the Lions, though. Like, it's the Lions.
It is the Lions. Yeah. Y'all wonder why Stafford chilling now. You wonder why Calvin Johnson retired. You wonder why Barry Sanders said, "I'm not doing this shit." There's a reason. And it starts with management. Y'all got to do something. You might need to get lawsuits like the Rams and say, "We just getting the hell out of St. Louis at this point," and then just say we're out of there. But the other thing I want to talk about, then we can go into Kyrie, is this man is a very happy ticket holder of the Ravens. I will say it every single week because whoever began my tickets, they probably enjoy it because they had another great game. Shout out to Lamar Jackson. I was mad in fantasy football.
Okay, we can talk about this. All right.
But I was mad in fantasy football for the sense that in the league that Steven and I are in, I just needed Justin Tucker to kick some points. He couldn't do that because I went for goddamn 2-point conversions every single time. So that kept him on the sidelines. And in another league, I had Lamar, so I was happy in that one. Then in the final league, I was going against Lamar. So I was very disappointed because Lamar did Lamar Jackson things. But it just shows you they need so much help. It's only him and Mark Andrews. And that's why the Colts defense is not good. I don't care what you say, but any team that goes against the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Ravens, you know where the ball is going. It's going to the tight end 75% of the time. They threw the touchdown to Mark Andrews, and then they said, "Let's just go back to him for the 2-point conversion." And the Colts were like, dang. No, Put the whole team on Mark Andrews. See who else is going to catch it. Y'all can stop Freeman. You can stop Murray. You can stop Watkins. You can stop Hollywood Brown at times, but you can't stop Andrews. Like, come on. So, but I'm happy they won. I love seeing Lamar Jackson do well because I think it's good for the Charm City as well.
So I always love getting into like the deeper conversation about players like Lamar Jackson. And I feel like there's always a narrative around him that he is not a good passer, that he is just, obviously he was labeled as Michael Vick 2.0, which he's a better passer than Michael Vick ever was. I think that's obvious and that's been shown. But I feel like there's a narrative that he's just like not a good passer, and that now, or like that's been the narrative that's been pushed, and now that he had the type of game he did, like statistically speaking, he had the greatest passing game ever. He completed 86% of his passes.
Yes, on over 400 yards passing.
That's incredible. Like that, and now he got lucky with some of the passes. They were not great. Like he's not the best passer in the world. Like he's not the most accurate. But I feel like this was like the narrative that's pushed that he's not a good passer, and that this game was one of those things. Lamar Jackson is proving people wrong that he's a good passer. Like no, it's Lamar Jackson has thrown some very in his career. He's thrown some very inaccurate passes. He's careless with the football. So he's not great, and it's costing some games sometimes. But he's not bad at passing the ball. He's not a bad quarterback. I don't get. Am I wrong? Am I missing this? Who are these people that are saying that Lamar Jackson is not a good passer? I mean, I think he's proven that, dude. He's won MVP. Go back to his college days. He put up crazy numbers, not just on the ground in college, but in the air. And he's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Justin Herbert. But he's not a bad passer. So is there am I missing it? I feel like there's narrative that's been pushed that he's just not a bad passer, and people just keep trying to push that because he's just always labeled as a mobile, rushing quarterback, and labeled as a Michael Vick 2.0 type of thing. And if people just want to push that type of thing just because, people try to knock him, so they always want to try and balance out the narratives that are pushed against these type of players.
So we're gonna rip the Band-Aid off on this one. It's the black running quarterback.
Okay,
and
so
they did it.
I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to be that guy and go into that. But yeah, it's pushed all the time.
It all is. The time. And they did it with Cam, won the MVP. Even McNabb had that at times. Any of those quarterbacks, Culpepper had it at times. He wasn't running too much. He was chilling on the Minnesota boats. But a lot of them, they're very different than Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes. And that's the thing. You don't see it happen in the same way with Kyler. I'm not going to go get into the in-depths of how reporters view Kyler Murray versus Lamar Jackson, but it's you don't judge other quarterbacks that same way as Lamar. And I don't really know if it's similar in basketball, when certain people, like LeBron, when he goes for dunks, he doesn't get all the fouls. Lamar is not getting all the calls. Cam Newton didn't get all the calls. And they kind of do it a certain type of way. But you are going to protect the hell out of Tom Brady with your life. You will protect Aaron Rodgers with your life. But Lamar, we'll just let it go this time. Let's just call it that one. So that's what I really think. And I just more so care about their longevity of their careers. There's a lot of quarterbacks that mean a lot to cities, but I don't know how many mean as much to one specific city like Lamar Jackson does to Baltimore.
And I get it. He's, like I said, he's been careless with the ball.
Hell yeah. They be holding with one hand.
He's dropped the ball a lot of times. It's cost him the playoff game. Even the playoff game against Tennessee, he's very inaccurate. Those are all true things. But that doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback. And that one of these games where he throws for 400 yards and is the reason why the Ravens won that game. Mm-hmm. We can talk about Mark Andrews. Yes, he was a huge factor. We can talk about the Colts secondary having to play guys like you and I in the second half.
They really did. Everybody was going down.
They were calling dudes out of the stands left and right. Who wants to play DB for the Colts? Come on down.
Exactly.
Sure, we can talk about all those things, but Lamar Jackson is the reason why they won that game.
Oh, 1,000%.
And quarterbacks are the reason why teams win games 99.9% of the time. But to say, this game, hey, he proved a lot of people wrong. Who?
I know.
We all know.
We saw it since Louisville. High school.
We all know he's an elite quarterback. Is he one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league? Maybe. But look at his numbers this year. He's 1,800 total yards, and he has more total yards than a lot of teams, bro.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teams, including the Steelers. Like he has, I mean, like, I don't know what like narrative. I think it's just people are trying to knock him down. So they're trying to push another narrative up, like, oh, he's proving people wrong with every awesome performance. No, he's just enhancing his status as an elite quarterback in the league and an MVP candidate every single season because of what he can do in the air and on the ground.
Yeah. So now we'll segue into the next one.
I'm fired up right now, bro.
Steven is ready for it. So I'll just drop the ball and let him go. Kyrie.
Okay. All right. So this is one of those things where we don't have to, you and I have talked about this too. We don't have to be like, this isn't like a sensitive topic for a lot of reasons. For those of you who don't know, Kyrie Irving, the Nets point guard, is not playing, not practicing, not getting paid because he's not vaccinated. Yeah. So it's the New York City or New York State, New York City mandate that you can't play, you have to be vaccinated to play in these types for NBA players. And NBA has their own vaccine mandate, all that kind of good stuff.
Whatever. San Francisco has a similar one as well.
Yeah, and Andrew Wiggins, guard
he said, I need that money.
Yeah, I need that Skrilla. I gotta get that shot real quick. So he had his reasons. I think he had religious beliefs and religious reasons why he didn't want to get vaccinated at first, but he did. But this is different. Kyrie Irving is, and he's been this guy. Kyrie has, I don't want to say outlandish, but his thoughts are out there. He thinks the earth is flat. He has his reasons for not getting vaxxed, whether it's religious, or whatever it is. Like he needs to do his own research, whatever. And people, again, this goes for the whole COVID thing in general. Whether, and this is my thing. Okay, so I'm about to do this. Whether you don't want to wear a mask, whether you don't want to get vaxxed for whatever reason, whether it's religious, whether you you think they're putting microchips in you, I don't care. Whatever it is, fine. Like if you don't want to get vaxxed, you don't want to wear a mask for those reasons, fine. At this point, I don't care. That's not my problem. The only time it becomes my problem is when it might affect my family.
Yeah.
Or my friends. Whatever. Like that's it. When it affects my circle, then that's when I need to like give my 2 cents. But if he doesn't want to get vaxxed for whatever reasons, you need to do your own research, cool, man. Fine, do it. If you're willing to stand up for your beliefs and hold out for a season and not get paid tens and millions of dollars, which at this point in his career, he doesn't need it. Fine. Cool, man. Look, like at some point, you got to sit back and kind of respect, whether you agree with it or not, you got to respect that person's decision to do so. We've always been told, growing up, I was always told, you can't tell people what to believe.
No.
This goes back to our conversations about racism. To end racism, you need to go into all the homes of those people whose families are part of the KKK. Back in the 60s, they did not believe in segregation. You got to go into all those people's homes and tell them that a white person hating a black person is wrong. But they're not going to believe you because that's their belief. Yeah. And this is Kyrie Irving's belief, and it has been for however long this has been going on. The whole vaccine thing, however long that's been going on, this has been his belief. And Kyrie Irving is that person who's not going to back down.
Absolutely not. He has the money too.
If he doesn't, the money's not even a thing. If he does not play this season, I will not be surprised. If he does, and the other thing is, I'll finish up. Like now, let's play basketball. This isn't the Lakers problem. This isn't the Mavs problem. This isn't the Nets. I mean the Bucks problem, the Clippers. This is on the Nets. Okay, the Nets got to deal with this. If Kyrie wants to come back in 3 months, whatever, 4 months at the end of the season, and he's done his research and he's talked to his people and he's done whatever, and it comes to the conclusion. Okay, I've taken the time to look it up and to ask people XYZ about the vaccine. I'm going to do it for the betterment of me and my family. Cool, come back. But until then, the Nets put out a statement. Kyrie put out his statement. We know how the Nets feel about it, players and coaches. We know how the whole damn media feels about it. We know how Stephen A. Smith feels about it, more importantly.
Absolutely.
So until then, until Kyrie decides to come back, do not talk about it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want them to bring it up during games, which we're going to. They're going to be like, it's another game where the Nets are without Kyrie Irving.
Yep,
Like,
every time.
Every single game, bro. Every single game. It's going to happen. We know it is. Because that's just, what else is there to talk about? No, nothing. What the game itself. Let's play ball. The Nets still have
Kyrie.
The Nets still have two of the 10 best players in the league, in Kevin Durant and James Harden, right? They have a dope team. They're the favorites in the East, probably, outside the Bucks. Still, even without Kyrie, that tells you how great their team is, and how great KD and James Harden are. Like, I'm done with that. If Kyrie wants to do that, cool, bro. That's your thing. That's your thing. But like, we shouldn't this shouldn't be a big deal like it is. But because it's the off season and it's COVID, and I understand the significance of COVID and what the vaccine can do. I understand people's positions on it. I know people who aren't getting vaxxed. Like, I understand everything. I am personally vaxxed. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, just, especially with this though, just play ball. Like, let's tip it off and let's go. I don't know what you have to say. I'll let you handle it. I gotta get a drink of water. Like, you know me as well as anybody. You know me for a long time now. Like, you know how I feel about shit like this. I don't usually get worked up about shit unless I really want to dive into it. And it's like, okay, Kyrie, you feel that way? Dope. If that was like my boy, I talk to. If it was you, I'd be like, Christian, okay, man, like, I respect that decision. I might not agree with it, but cool. Like, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do, and we'll leave it at that. Just leave it at that, though. That's it. We don't need to keep going with it. We're done.
So
I'm done.
I know so many people that have not gotten back. Some of my closest friends have not gotten back. And I tell people, even to this day, I'm never going to judge you for it, because of the fact and I was just talking to a friend today, this is the first time people have had an opportunity to control the vaccinations and the shots that they get inside their body. As everyone knows, like, when you're a child, you get a bunch of different shots.
Yep.
And your parents are just going to end up going with it. Why? Because half the time you need to go to school. This is the first time.
I've had to do that so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Yep.
And this is the first time that people have a choice when it comes to getting a shot. I 1000% respect Kyrie for it. I understand the reasons why he does it. Anyone that knows me knows that I am a big person when it comes to Muhammad Ali, Nelson Mandela, and Dr. Sebi. So I understand the natural way. I understand what they've done to those different individuals, whether it was in jail or whether it just was in everyday life for them believing a certain way, and they judge them for it. They tell us, like Steven said, they tell you every single day. You can't fault somebody for how they think or how they believe. That is their choice. So you're getting mad. And half the time, the only person, maybe two, the only person that should be genuinely mad at Kyrie for this is Kevin Durant. Because he's like, damn, dude, like, I thought we were going to win a championship. They ask him the goddamn question every single day. Man, Kyrie going to be here with us. Because Kevin Durant does not like to talk to the media all the time. And y'all are forcing this man to talk to the media about something that's not basketball. It's about Kyrie. And that's the only difference. Wherever Kevin Durant has gone, there's always been somebody that's been more vocal. Draymond, Russell Westbrook, and now he has Kyrie. He does not like to have to talk. Y'all put him in these situations. Even when they faked happy birthday to him, he looked at y'all like, why the hell are you doing this to me? Like, he does not want to do that. So I can understand his frustration. I still can believe they're going to make it to the conference finals, maybe even the finals, because the East is not that good. I promise you, if you put a healthy James Harden and a healthy Kevin Durant on that court with any type of Blake Griffin you want, any type of team on the bench that you want, you're going to do fine. Look what James Harden did by himself in Houston. Look what KD can do in different situations. So
look what James Harden did without KD and Kyrie during the stretch of this
exactly
year. So
yeah, so you have another year removed from the Achilles injury for KD. So those two are going to be fine. I think this helps everybody moving forward as to, all right, we know what direction to take. I want to just really say, like, I understand what Kyrie is doing and how he feels and how he believes. And the crazy part is, let's say COVID is only here for another year or two. Y'all aren't going to talk about this in 2 years about Kyrie, why didn't you do this? You're going to be like, remember back when that year Kyrie did not play, how they could have won a championship, but they won't be still. You'll be mad if they don't win a championship, but so what? Get over it. It's more than sports. And that's a lot of times what people try to do. Just make them who they are as an athlete. When they have a family, they have a life, they have beliefs. Let them have beliefs. Some of y'all probably don't even like that certain players on the court are Black. You just like that they can shoot a ball very good. And I'm like, just let him believe what he wants to believe and just call it at that. You guys need to stop, end up getting mad at him for it. He might do it. I saw on like social media, have a fake arm just to get the shot for y'all and fool you and go play in the playoffs with a real arm.
Joe, I just want to say real quick, like, I hope people don't like take what I said, and I'm not trying to bash Kyrie. Like, at some point you just got to respect people's opinions, because people's opinions and their decisions and what they believe in, it's not ever gonna be what you believe in about certain things, about everything. It doesn't matter. Like Kyrie can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. If he just want to get vaxxed, that's cool, man. Like, don't get vaxxed. Like, just like be smart about it. Like, if you're around the team, which I don't know if he's even allowed to be around it. I think he is. I don't know like the stipulations of all that, but like, just be smart about it. Like, you know, we all know what that means in terms of COVID. But like, look, if you don't get vaxxed, cool. But let's just leave it at that. Like I said, Kyrie put out a statement. The Nets put out a statement. We all know how everybody feels about it. Season tips off next week, and boom, let's get going with it.
Yeah, so we'll leave it at that, and then finish how we always do with the picks. So I gotta say, shout out to them Bills. Shout out to them Buffalo Bills for another one. Steven didn't do bad last week, so
I hate the NFL. I hate the NFL, bro.
I will say, before we start, I want to give credit to Darius Slay, because I am one of the biggest critics of the Eagles defense. I legit will always say they are not good.
Of their defense, bro, of their team.
Of their team.
Bro, the team. Not just the defense, the team, bro.
But their defense.
Be honest.
Yeah, the whole team needs a rework. And sometimes I feel a type of way about Nick Sirianni. But Darius Slay came through. He had 2 interceptions. Sam Darnold needs to be smarter. Sam Darnold might get Christian McCaffrey back this week. You goddamn better play. But Christian McCaffrey needs to come back one of these weeks. And Sam Darnold will be a little bit better. He has some of his receivers that are banged up at times. He needs to read the field better. But Sam Darnold will be fine. Shout out Darius Slay, because that was a big game for him to have 2 interceptions. So congratulations to that defense. It does help him. We'll go into this week, and we'll start off with Bucks and Eagles. Who you got? He's going to have a field day like no other. And this is me as an Eagles fan saying, oh, they about to get torched. I am not going to the link on a Thursday. Hell no. It is not worth it to see Tom Brady wax the whole field. You have Mike Evans on one side, AB, wherever the hell AB wants to be. Gronk probably going to be back. Godwin. Hell no. Cameron Brate might start catching touchdowns. So no. So that's an easy one. The next one, and you'll be surprised at this one, Dolphins and the Jags across the pond in London.
Can I not pick this game? Can I just leave this game as blank?
You can if you want to.
I'm gonna go with the Jags.
That's what I was doing.
We'll get it. Well, the Jags get their W on their new home turf. Over there in London. They ship them off there. I'm going with the Jags.
So I don't really know what's happening with the Dolphins. So I have the Jags in that one. Next one, because Taylor, you need some sort of good offense, man. But we got the Chiefs and the Washington football team.
I'm gonna go Chiefs.
So
the Washington is just, they're just falling apart, man. That defense is not what people thought it was going to be. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
We thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Yeah. Love that one. That's a good one.
So Rams, Giants. This is another easy one because Saquon need to leave. They destroyed Daniel Jones on that play. I have not seen too many wobbly quarterbacks.
He's done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Rams. That's
so
easy.
I have the Rams on that one. I don't know if you saw it when the Rams played the Seahawks, but they took 2 offensive linemen to block Aaron Darnold. My man is huge, and he's not a tall guy. He's just big.
Yep.
And it took 2 of them, and he still was trying to get through there. But next game, because I just hope he stays healthy. Yes, yeah, that was a wild one.
You can't see it well, but yeah, that's too bad.
Colts.
Oh man, that was a pretty demoralizing loss for the Colts. So I'm gonna go with the Texans.
Okay, so only reason why I have the Colts is because, man, I need Carson Wentz healthy. We need them draft picks. Keep doing this. Keep him on the field. COVID don't come back to him. Injuries with them sprained ankles don't come back. We need him on the field. Dolphins keep losing, and Carson Wentz stay healthy. And we going to have a team next year. But Cowboys, you can run away this year. Next year, we just going cornerback, wide receiver, quarterback, maybe, cornerback. But next game, Bengals, Lions. I like the chemistry they got over there in Cincinnati.
First of all, did you see the hit that Joe Burrow took? And they were like, yes. Yeah, he's good. What? Bro, I tweeted this out. There's no logical person that could see that and be like, oh, no, he's cool. Like,
he's good. Joe will get up. He's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. They're playing pretty solid. Even though they lost, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I like the connection that him and Jamar Chase have, obviously.
Burrow and Chase got a connection. They kind of said, sorry, Boyd, sorry, all the other receivers out there. It's just them two. And you can't stop Chase. So that's another one. When they were critiquing Jamar Chase for sitting out and being frustrated down at LSU, Chase was out there balling, like practicing, doing whatever, because he's showing it right now. It was worth the pick for someone like that. They were saying they shouldn't have drafted him as high because he didn't play, but they proved it. And it also shows you who was the better of the 2 receivers when they were both at LSU. Jefferson was really good, but Chase didn't even play last year.
Yeah,
and he's doing this. So Packers, Bears. Congrats to Justin Fields because he is playing.
Yeah, Packers.
So I have the Packers on that one. Next one, and I'm torn on this one. Chargers and Ravens. Okay. So I'm going with the Chargers, and I've gone back and forth for a while about
where's that game at, by the way?
Baltimore. Baltimore has a 3-game stint at home. But the big thing with Baltimore is their defense just got exposed the hell out of. Like Carson Wentz is just destroying y'all across the field. Mm-hmm. So you bring Herbert there with Eckler, and his favorite target is not Keenan Allen. It's Mike Williams. Mike Williams came alive out there. But I have the Chargers with that one. It just took a lot out of Lamar to do that. And that defense is not going to come alive. If they couldn't do it against the Colts, they're not going to do it against the Chargers. And I thought they would be able to stop Jonathan Taylor. They messed up the first play of the game on a screen. Mm-hmm. So the next one we have Vikings, Panthers. That's a tough one.
Panthers.
I have the Panthers in that one too. I don't know what Vikings team I'm ever going to get. Cardinals, Browns.
Cardinals. So Love the way they're playing, bro. Love the way they're playing.
Kyler got a connection with Hopkins, but not just Hopkins, all the receivers out there.
Rondell
so they're
Moore.
Doing good. Yes.
Yeah. Yep,
Shout out.
Yep.
Next one we got is Raiders, Broncos. Before everything came out, it might be different, but Raiders, Broncos.
I'm still going with the Raiders. I think it was a better team.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I got to go with my boy Teddy Two Gloves real quick.
Teddy Two Gloves, The homie.
Anyone out there that plays fantasy, make sure to pay attention to Tim Patrick. He is slowly and quietly starting to get more catches up there for Denver. Teddy Bridgewater is starting to find him at times, so just watch that one. Another game that would have been good if Tom Brady was in it, but Cowboys-Pats.
Cowboys.
So I have the Cowboys in that one too. Got to give a lot of credit to Diggs. Diggs is next level. Bro. He is balling. It doesn't matter how you throw it to him. He's going to find a way to get it.
Yep.
And this is second year, isn't it?
I think he's a rookie.
Okay. So yeah, he probably is a rookie. Because I remember when he got drafted, it was a big thing.
Yeah.
That he went there. Because the year before, because he was first round pick.
Yep.
Yeah, because last year.
Oh yeah, they took Parsons and then they took Diggs.
Yeah, and then because last year they chose CeeDee Lamb, and that was a big thing because his own girl was over there looking at him on his phone.
That was a great video. That was great. Snatch that shit quicker than you snatch any ball out of the air.
So Seahawks against Steelers.
Come on. Well, I tell you 2 weeks ago, I'm not picking the Steelers for the season. I don't care how good they looked last week. I don't care how good they. I don't care if Roethlisberger throws for 500 touchdowns or 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. Not picking them. Nope.
I gotta go.
It's in Seattle too, isn't it? Yeah.
I think it's in Pittsburgh.
Really?
If my notes are correct, I could be wrong.
I don't care where it
doesn't matter.
Not picking the Steelers. Don't care. And
I got the Steelers.
Even in the Seahawks don't have Russell Wilson. I'm still picking them.
They got Geno Smith. So, hey, Geno and his hair and everything.
Yeah.
They have maybe no Chris Carsons, but they got DK and Tyler. Yeah.
Your boy, though.
He gets injured all the time because I said he runs too hard sometimes and he'll just get injured. Next game, you know where I'm going with this one for Monday Night Football, Bills-Titans.
I'm going with the Bills. Is that Pittsburgh game on Sunday night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Still going with the Seahawks. I'm going with the Bills.
So until the end, got to go with the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, probably saw Steven's tweets. You probably saw other people out there. I'll always say Josh Allen is at least in the top 3. This is biased. This is not what everyone's going to say, but Josh Allen has been doing great work. And a lot of people start paying attention to the NFC, but Josh Allen and the Bills are quietly one of the best teams out there. For sure. Yeah. So it's a couple of teams that are out there that are doing well, but I think when Tom Brady switched to the NFC, it was a changing of the guard with all of that. Then also, who knows I don't know what the Chiefs are doing. Stephen A. Smith says they're done. I don't think they're done because they're always going to be up there. Kelsey's still alive and well. Tyreek Hill's still alive and well. Josh Gordon caught a pass. So
he did.
Who knows what's going to happen? Yeah. And I don't think the Edwards-Helaire injury is as big as people are making it seem. It's a decent sized injury, but look, every single year, they've damn near had a different running back. So they just insert somebody in there. You had Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt had his off the field issues. They just put another person in there. All right. That happened. They just said, let's go to next year. Edwards-Helaire. It doesn't really matter. They're going to throw a running back there. But that's it for everything this week. What you got to end it?
Shout out to my boy AJ. He gets married this weekend.
Congratulations.
On Friday. I'm going up for that one. I'm in the wedding. So that'll be dope. It's up in New York. Very excited about that. Very excited for him and his, I guess, wife to be Carrie. Happy for them. So shout out to AJ and Carrie.
Congratulations. So with mine, if you follow me on Twitter, it's not as sentimental as Steven's, but it's sentimental to me. But I lost my Luxo hat that I have on right now. I was in Philadelphia and I was like, damn, I can't find it.
It's very similar to the sentimental thing. I get it. I've lost a hat before. I get it. I've lost multiple awesome hats, so I get it.
But the bigger reason for this, it's not even, I don't think the hat, it's the community that is involved with it. Like when I put this out saying I thought I lost this hat and I found it, when I tell you everyone from one of the co-founders of the company to people I talk to every single day in the Luxo community all liked it. They hit me with like Denzel Washington memes, like getting scared that I lost it. I was like, yo, this shit doesn't mean as much now, but down the line, when y'all really say, shout out Luxo Daddy, that Luxo is going to be worth $10,000 for one Luxo. Oh, this shit going to be worth a lot. So, but that's the big thing. I did find it. So Sarah, who ended up, it was Sarah and Mike out there. So shout out for helping me get this hat. I did find it. It was actually in the trunk under my Eagles tailgating stuff. So I remember because I was drinking a lot that day and I just said, let me put it there. But that's it for me. Everything out here. We'll catch y'all next week. And with that, we out.